Hello and welcome to Tuesday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic. It's not Tuesday, is it? Oh, I'm sorry. I think I've got the day wrong. I've lost track of days. Hang on, where's my phone? Hang on. Oh, it won't tell me. Tell me what the day is. Monday. It's Monday. Monday the 19th. Hello and welcome to Monday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic. That is not a good start, is it? Oh dear, oh dear. Anyway, it's Monday. Happy Monday. And it's possible that error, that deliberate error, won't ever be seen, because this puzzle on screen is called the 15th Day of Christmas by Cris Moore, and Mark sent it to me this morning with an enigmatic message that said something like, this puzzle is probably impossible and unsuitable for a video, but it might be, the wording was something like, it might have very interesting logic or something. And the reason that makes me deeply suspicious is the sort of the might word, because that suggests that Mark hasn't solved it. Now, that might mean he's had a go at it and found that it's just monstrously hard. It might mean he's done nothing at all. I don't know. But it is at least suspicious. What I did do is I looked it up on Logic Masters Germany after he'd recommended it, and I noticed that it's only been solved 4 times. Now, what I forgot, I didn't only forget the day, what I forgot to check is when it was published, because if it was published 6 months ago and it's only been solved 4 times, that means that Mark's having a joke at my expense, because this is going to be absolutely impossible. Because if it's only been solved 4 times in 6 months, a lot of people will have tried it, and no doubt it's absolutely viciously difficult. If it was only published this morning, it's been solved 4 times, that has quite a different flavour to it. So I should have checked that and didn't. But this is, as we speak, the Sudoku with only 4 given solvers, which might mean that it's very, very hard. We shall see. The rules are really short, actually. So I'm hopeful it may not be quite as difficult as I fear. But what else do I need to tell you about today? I need to say very happy birthday to Julia, and that's because your best friend Mallory, Julia, wrote to us and said that you would appreciate a shout out. So I hope that you have a brilliant birthday with lots and lots of cake. Other than that, over on Patreon we have the Sudoku event of the year coming up, and I love the fact that almost everybody agreed that the World Sudoku Championship was not the Sudoku event of the year. The Sudoku event of the year is coming in the next couple of days, when we are going to release the very first ever Phistomefel Sudoku hunt over on Patreon, which is going to be, oh well, I'm looking forward to the comments already. Let's just put it like that. And this is a big thank you from us. From us to our patrons. You keep the channel going. Thank you so much for your support, and this Christmas present, we hope you will like it. Anyway, the other thing we've got over on Patreon, and you've only got 1 day left, actually. We are creeping towards the 20th, and that's the Cryptic Scriptures of the Secret Snake Society. So we've got more correct entries. I'll read out some names. Maddie Capelloni, Marnie Seprovich, Branford MD, Max Werner Chase, Stuart Crichton, Riddy Danawat, Ashley Hunt, Mark Dumont, Jerome Duman, Denny Major, Merrill Jensen, Ivan Valerie, Esmeralda Klein-Riesink and Anne-Marie DeHaan, Leonard Sorensen, Cuddle Me Q, Cray Anderson, and also Stanley Gorlick. All of you sent in the correct entries. Very well done. And the other thing we've got over on Patreon at the moment is my solve of this vicious puzzle by Tallcat called Shadow. So if you like watching, or if you have a bit of Schadenfreude in your soul, check that video out. Now, let's have a look at what Cris Moore has done. I have done a Cris Moore puzzle before, I think. I think it was about Saturn, the moons of Saturn or something. It was a very good puzzle, if I'm remembering rightly. This is where it's going to be even more embarrassing, because I'm going to have got the wrong constructor. But I think that Cris Moore did a puzzle called something like the Moons of Saturn, which was brilliant. But the rules of this puzzle are as follows. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Each purple line contains digits that sum to 15, including the thermometer. Right, so we've got to make sure each of these lines contains digits adding to 15. Digits cannot repeat on a purple line, so what we're not going to be doing is 771, presumably, or any other iterations thereof. No two purple lines can contain the same set of digits. Right. Digits along the purple thermometer must increase from the bulb end. So if that's 1, that's got to be, well, not got to be, but that could be 5, that could be 9, for example. They would add up to 15, wouldn't they? So that's one way of doing it. And cells separated by a Knight's move in chess cannot contain the same digits. We have a Knight's move restriction today. So if this cell was a 1, then, let's imagine where a chess knight could jump to from this position. It could jump to there, nori nori. So none of these highlighted cells could contain the digit 1 if the central cell was a 1, because then there would be a Knight's move apart, and that's against the rules in this puzzle. Do have a go, the 15th day of Christmas. So this is late as well, isn't it? Isn't the 15th day the 15th of December? Or have I got that wrong as well? This could be a dreadful video for mistakes. But anyway, do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video. Now I get to play. Let's get cracking and see what is going on. And my temptation... I suspect this is all going to be about Knight's moves. But what... okay, let's start with something simple, actually, which is that the 2-cell lines... Well, how do you make 2 cells in Sudoku add up to 15? There are 2 ways. So, right, so I see that digit in the corner is a 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5, therefore, because one of these 2-cell lines is going to be a 6, 9 pair, and one of them is going to be a 7, 8 pair. And however they're arranged, they're looking at this digit, which has to be low. When I say low, I mean it can't be 6, 7, 8 or 9. Right. So all of the other lines are 3-cell lines. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of those. Which makes me wonder, have we got the full set? I don't know how many ways there are of adding up to 15 in 3 digits using Sudoku numbers without repeats as well. In fact, let's check that. So let's try and list them all. So if we had a 1 in the sum, we'd need 2 more digits that add up to 14. So we could have 1, 5, 9 or 1, 6, 8. If there's no 1 in it, let's have a 2 in it, so the next 2 digits have to add up to 13, so they could be 4, 9, 5, 8, or 6, 7. And if we don't have a 2 or a 1 in it, then we can have a 3 in it. Now we've got 2 digits that add up to 12, so they're not going to be, we can't repeat, so we can't do 3, 3, 9, so we've got to do 3, 4, 8, or 3, 5, 7. And if we have a 4 in it and no 1, 2 or 3, then we need 2 digits that add up to 11, which don't repeat the 4 and don't involve 1, 2 or 3. So that's right. So the complete set is 8. There are 8 combinations. Right. So that is immediately interesting to me. Let me just think about that for a moment. So we know that each of these lines contains one of these combinations. We've got 2-digit 1s in the combinations, 3-digit 2s. Oh, that's weird. You've got less digit 3s in the combinations than you have digit 2s in the combinations. Well, that surprises me for some reason. I would have expected there to be some sort of symmetry about this. 2-digit 8s, 2-digit 9s, 3-digit 8s. only 2-digit sevens. So it is symmetrical, but in a slightly strange way. 4s. There are 3 4s, 4 5s. Oh, right, yeah, no, okay. Okay, I get this, actually. I get this. Yes. The corners of a magic square are why this is going like this. The corners of a magic square. So I've looked at this on the channel before. In fact, I bet the reason I've thought of this is because I said the Sudoku with only 4 given solvers. And our biggest video on the channel is a puzzle, a video called A Sudoku with only 4 given digits by Ard van der Wetering, and that involves a magic square. So I've got magic square in my brain, and that has helped me, because what does a magic square look like in Sudoku land? Well, the magic square looks like this. There's always a 5 in the middle of it, and there are even digits in the corners. And the crucial thing, the crucial thing that's relevant to this puzzle is that the magic square, if you try and make a magic square out of Sudoku digits, so let's try and put a magic square into this box. So a magic square, of course, is a square where every row, every column, and every diagonal adds up to the same number. And I know most of you know this already, but because of the secret, there is a secret about Sudoku, which is that the digits 1 to 9 sum to 45. Now, if you know that, and we're trying to work out what the total might be that a magic square in Sudoku adds up to, well, given that those 3 rows add up to 45, it's going to be 45 divided by 3 is going to be the total for a row, and that's 15. And that's what this puzzle is about, 15 numbers. So why is this occurring to me as interesting? Well, I know that a 5 goes in the middle of a magic square. I've proved that many times before, but is there a quick way of doing that? I don't think I need to prove it, do I? I mean, the proof that 5 goes in the middle is that if we were to draw, we know that the magic number is 15. So if I was to draw diagonals, if I was to draw 2 diagonals, 1 row and 1 column, then those 4 lines I've just drawn would add up to 60, because each line is adding up to 15. But this cell is included in every single line. It's included in all 4 lines. So we can see that the 4 lines I've drawn include every single cell of the Sudoku, plus this cell an extra 3 times, and every single cell of a Sudoku adds up to 45. So if I take 60, which is the sum of the lines, including the 3 repeats, if I take 45 from 60, I get 15, which I know is counting 3 lots of this central cell. So that central cell is a 5. That is the most elegant proof of that, and I think I have Sam Kappelman Lines to thank for that, because he was the one who originally wrote to me about it, I think. So anyway, you can put a 5 in the middle. I'm digressing. Put a 5 in the middle, but the reason that I realised that magic squares are relevant is that the corners of the magic square are always the even digits. And the way that you might see that is try and put an odd number in a corner, and you'll find there's a problem now. Because now this digit here would have to be a 1, obviously, to make that work. And now these 2 squares have got to add up to 6 to make this row add up to 14. And the only thing you could, there's simply nothing you can put in this digit that's going to make this a possible total. You can't repeat the 1 and the 5. If you put 2 and 4 in, which are the only other ways of adding up to 6, this cell is too high. So it's logic like that that tells you the corners of a magic square are even. Now, this is the magic bit here. let me just put this in. We don't know what the order of the magic square is. It doesn't really matter. But the crucial thing is, and this is what triggered it in my brain, is that the corner is part of 3 different sums. So when I listed these out and I could see that the 2 was in 3 different sums and the 3 was in 2 different sums, that rang some sort of bell in my brain. So now, let's just fill some of this in. It doesn't matter what the order is. I just want to sort of show you how this might look. Let's make that 6 and that 4. So in order to make this work, that's 1, that's 9, that's going to be 3, and that's going to be 7. And I think, obviously, different orientations, we could rotate this, reflect it, and things like that. But basically, that's always the pattern of the magic square. So in fact, I can, and the good thing about this is, let's count how many variants of 15 are included in the magic square. Well, there's that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the 2 diagonals brings us up to a grand total of 8. So I have managed to represent my 8 lines that I've got to draw into this puzzle, rather than having 8 different lines in the Sudoku used up. I've just used up 1 box, which is much more efficient, and therefore I'm pleased with myself. So, and that's why there are 4 5s. There were 4 5s in the combinations, because of course the 5 is used on the diagonal twice, that column and that row, which is rather cool. Now, how is this going to help me solve the puzzle? The answer is potentially not at all. Well, it will be a useful aid memoir, though. But I think we're going to have to think about the knight's move, jiggery-pokery, to understand this, aren't we? Sorry, I realise I've just stopped talking there. What I was doing was scanning the magic square and trying to see whether the thermo was in some way restricted. I don't think it is. I'm just trying to understand what the options are. Yeah, because the 7, 8 and 9 are always in different rows. Yeah, okay. So the 7, 8 and 9 are always in different rows and columns of the 3x3 magic square. I almost said Sudoku there, but they're always in different rows and columns, and so are the 1s, 2s and 3s. And so are the 4, 5s and 6s. Oh, but the 4, 5 and 6 are on the diagonal. So I was about to say something that's wrong, but it's almost interesting, actually. I was about to say that there's entropy in the options. Oh, that's really beautiful, Nearly. So what I was thinking is that any way that you structure 3 Sudoku digits to add up to 15, because the 1s, 2s and 3s are in different rows and columns, and the 7s, 8s and 9s are in different columns, you're always picking one of the digits 1, 2 and 3, and one of the digits 7, 8 and 9, and one of the middly digits, the 4, 5 and 6, which are also in different rows. But the exception to that rule is the combination 4, 5, 6, which takes the 3 middly digits in the sum and puts them into a sequence. So every other combination takes a low digit, a middly, right, I've got something, a low digit, a middly digit, and a high digit. So that digit I know is a 4, 5 or a 6. I realise that may seem underwhelming. If this is the 4, 5, 6 variant, then that's probably how this well, Okay, I wonder if that's how this works. So, imagine this was the 456 thermo. Then we would be able to place the digits on it using the thermo, the fact we have to increase as we go along the thermometer. But we also know that because of the entropic nature that would then exist in all the other lines, every other line is made up of a low digit, a 1, 2, 3, a medium digit, a 4, 5, 6, and a high digit, a 7, 8, 9. Is it using the Knight's move as well? I was wondering if I could lock 4, 5, 6 either on or off some of these other lines now. I mean, no, I can't quite. I can nearly do it. I can't quite do it. This one I can nearly. I think it's going to be easier actually to prove this is not 4, 5, 6. Because if this is 4, 5, 6, it's very hard to put a 4, 5 or 6 on this line. That cell can't be 4, 5 or 6 because this sees the bulb by Knight's move. That can't be 4, 5, 6 because it sees these two in the column and that in its box. This one can't be 6, can't be 5, but might be able to be 4. No, maybe it can be 4. That would put a 4 there in the middle box. So, actually, I can't rule that out. What about this one? If this is 4, 5, 6, well, clearly that can't be any of 4, 5 or 6, but that one could be the same as that one. Bobbins. Right, okay. All right, I'm abandoning that. I thought that might be a way of learning about how these lines move together. No, this is always 4, 5 or 6. I don't know even if I completed that thought process when I jumped upon it, but this is always 4, 5, 6 because either the nature of one of these lines is entropic, i.e. it has a low, a medium and a high digit, or it is specifically the sequence 4, 5, 6, in which case this is clearly going to be a 4, 5 or a 6 because it's going to be the 5. So actually, all right, so if this thermometer is not the 4, 5, 6 thermometer, that is definitely a low digit and that's definitely a high digit. That 3, 4 is annoying me now because I know that's not right. But okay, we're just going to live with that. I think I'm going to retain my magic square, especially as it took me a while to explain it. Right. Okay, so it's got to be something else then. So what is the something else? What we're looking for is some way. You can't repeat a digit on a line, can you? So I want to say that means, I don't know. Normally in Knight's move Sudokus, it's cells like this one, and this one maybe. Let's just take a look at those. So that cell, I'm trying to work out where that cell goes in box 5, and that's purely because that seems to be the most real estate in the puzzle is condensed in box 5. Now this can't repeat on its own line, we know that. Oh, blimey, I don't know. Right, I don't like that cell as the key to the puzzle. I'm going to try this one instead. No, I don't like that one either. Okay, let's try a corner one then, in the hopes that this is going to yield some sort of... I don't think this is. This feels worse. I'm not thinking about this properly. There's got to be some... there's got to be some way of getting into the puzzle. I've got nothing here. That digit cannot appear on this one. I've got a horrible feeling this is something to do with exactly the point that we were thinking about earlier, which is that, you know, how many twos can you put into those 4 lines or something like that, or how many 9s can you put into them? Especially when the middle box, all those digits have to be different. So all of these digits have to be different. But we can see from the magic square, though, that there's no... Well, we can see from the magic square that not only are we using every number on at least one line, we're actually using every number on at least 2 lines, and we're using some numbers, like 5, on 4 lines. So is it 5s that are restricted? The problem I've got with that is that I can well imagine there's some sort of restriction on 5s. You know, I probably can't put 3 5s or something in these, but there's nothing to stop that being a 5, that being a 5, that having a 5. No, this is not. I'm not thinking about this clearly at all. I'm so sorry. Okay, 26 minutes. How long do I give it before I give up on this? I suspect that Mark hasn't solved this. I suspect this is beastly. It's only got 4 solvers. That's probably in several months. It's very interesting. This is the sort of puzzle I like to mull over for a few days, and then I might be able to crack it or come up with something. I don't think it can be to do. No, it's just not to do with the 2 cell lines. There's something about the 3 cell lines. But the problem is I can't. If there was a cell, you know, if there was a cell, maybe let's just take that cell as an example. If that cell, and it doesn't work, so it's not right, but imagine that cell couldn't appear on any of these lines. That would be interesting. That would be a real deduction that might be able to yield some sort of trickery. But I don't see how I can possibly... Even there, that I still can get... It's going to be there's going to be some arrangement of these lines that, you know, you can only have, you know, 2 repeated digits on or something, and that's going to matter for the magic square. I can see I can't have a repeated digit in that pattern, because that one sees that one by Knight's move and that one by Knight's move. Yeah, that's interesting. Let's just stare at that for a moment or two in the absence of anything better. So that arrangement, and I didn't actually use the box logic to prove that. You can just see that that cell sees those 3 cells, that cell sees those 3 cells, that cell sees those 3 cells, not through Sudoku logic, but through Knight's move logic and row and column logic is how that works. It doesn't use the box logic, so it should also be the case there. So those 3 digits, those 6 digits, all have to be different. Let's blue them. No, it's a bit aggressive, I think. Let's orange them. Yeah. So right, so those 6 digits are all different. So they have to be... What does that mean in terms of my magic square? That means that they are... Yeah, well, it's actually that's quite an interesting thought, bizarrely. Because they can't be... They sort of... they exist either in the rows or in the columns. That is weird. That is weird. I don't know what that means, but I do think that's really interesting. What I mean by that is, what is this combination? This yellow combination? And the answer is, of course, I haven't got a clue. I'm just going to call it A for a moment. Now, A is either diagonal. Well, let's try that just for a moment. Is A diagonal? It won't let me do that because these are big numbers. But if A was diagonal on the magic square, how would we ever fill those digits in? And the reason I ask that question is that these digits cannot repeat any of the digits A. So if those digits, let's say it was those digits, are the A digits, how would we avoid this combination having either an 8, a 5 or a 2 in it? Which way should we divide our magic square to achieve this wonderful thing? And the answer is you can't do it, because you can't take a column, you'll always pick up a yellow square. You can't take a row, you'll always pick up a yellow square. And if you try the other diagonal, you'll pick up the 5. So there is no way that the A sequence is a diagonal. Now, once it's a row, let's just make it the middle row. It could be a column. Let's just make it a row. What's this one now? Well, this one now can't be a column, because if it was a column, it would pick up one of those digits. So it's another row. So either this is a row of the magic square, and then this is a different row of the magic square, or this is a column of the magic square, and that's a different column of the magic square. And that is really rather surprising, I think. Don't forget, this is not, other magic squares are available, in the sense this, we can't now say, even if I could, I can't assume that this is, because we can rotate this, we can reflect it. So, I mean, we're not able to deduce too much from this. All we can say for sure is that the combination of digits that exist in yellow it is possible to express them. Yeah, it's possible to express them as 2 different rows of a magic square. It's also possible to express them as 2 different columns of a magic square. Right, so now, can I use that on this somehow to create a fish? That would be lovely. So... No, there's loads of repeat digits opportunities. That's not sensible as a thought. I know all 6 of these digits are different. I know all 6 of these different digits are different. Oh, wait a minute. Ah. What's that telling me? That's telling me something. I can't have the same combination. Oh, good grief. Right. Okay. So that's telling me that there are 4 digits I think. Right. I think I can now state with certainty that there are 4 common digits between orange and yellow. Is that right? Right, just bear with me here. I'm not sure about this, but I'm going to... So let's say that yellow corresponds to rows of my hypothetical magic square. So let's just say that it's... In fact, let's divide it. Let's say it's the top row and the bottom row. That's absolutely possible that the yellow digits would be these. But now we've got exactly the same restriction on orange. Orange is 6 different digits. So where am I putting orange in my magic square? And the answer is not in the rows. Because if I do put them in the rows, remember I can't have the same combination. So if I made this 816, I can't make either of these 816 because that's going to repeat the sequence and I'm not allowed to do that. So if I try and make this orange, that would in theory be possible. But now what's the other? So let's say this was 357. Oh. I want to do numbers. 357. How would we ever make this now work? We can't make it work. We can't make it work because remember it cannot duplicate a number from 357. So it's not a combination that's on the diagonals or vertical because that will repeat one of the digits. So it needs to be another horizontal sequence that add up to 15 and the only 2 available have already been used on yellow. So that means that this orange is very specifically, again, it can't be diagonal for the reasons that we said it couldn't be diagonal on yellow. So orange is vertical. So let's say that orange is this one and this one. You can see that however I'd divided up the orange, I'm going to get an overlap in 4 positions. So there are 4 common digits between orange and yellow. Oh, so near. It's so nearly difficult for that one to be repeated. I mean, there are only 6 here. If that's repeated, where is it repeated? It can't be there by Knight's move. It's not in the same box as itself. It's not there. If that's repeated, it has to be there. But this looks the most restricted digit, unfortunately. Let me think about that for a moment. It is. I think it's this one. This one I don't think is under the same pressure. It could repeat in 2 places. That's so annoying. That really is. That's a beautiful... It's a beautiful thing. Oh no, I was getting excited then. I was about to say, and does that mean that the repeated digits have to be... Well, at least 2 of the repeated digits have to be even. Oh, golly, imagine if it's parity. Imagine if there's some logic that says that the repeated digits between orange and yellow have to be all the even digits. They're going to have to be some even digits because I could only take 1 column stripe to keep even digits off the repeating digits. And then the other one would shift over into a side. Sorry, I realised that was a complete pause there. My brain was I was just looking at the pattern and trying to understand. So I'm doing it again. I'm trying to understand what it means. The other thing is Right. Here's another point, actually, which is less... Well, at first blush, it's less powerful, but maybe it's not less powerful. Yeah, that is a lovely point, actually. I'm just trying to see whether I agree it's correct. Right, it is correct. Okay. Right, forget what I've been saying about orange and yellow overlapping in 4 cells. They do overlap in 4 cells. Let's just take one. Let's just take this one, because I can see what it does on this one. I'm not sure what it does on that one yet, but let's just take this one. Now this one, I have to put a stripe down the grid. It's that one, or that one, in terms of which combination it's going to be. But that means that this one and this one share exactly 1 digit, because if I put it there, well, I don't know which one this yellow is, but let's put it in just so we can visualize what's going on. Let's say that this one is 816 and this one is 492. Let's put that one in as well. Now, if this is 816, it's this stripe, but we know that the orange is vertical somewhere. Don't know where, but it's going to have to overlap with one of these digits. Because if it's that string, then it's 159, and that would require us to repeat the 1. But the point is how can you repeat a digit between those 6 cells? And that is an interesting question because of the Knight's Move constraint. So can that digit repeat in yellow? Which one could it be? Well, it can't be any of them because it sees that one by Knight's Move. So this is not repeated. This is not repeated because it sees that one in its row, that one in its column, and that one by Knight's Move. So that's not repeated. So that must be repeated. And where does it repeat? Well, not there. It's in the column with it. Not there. It's a Knight's Move away. So it must be here. So those digits are the same number. And that is actually a positive. That is a real deduction, if you like, rather than just a weird deduction. Or a sort of completely abstract deduction. That is a real deduction. That digit and that digit are the same number. Which means that in the middle box, that digit is very nearly restricted. I think it's going to be the same, is it, in here? It's the same in here. Oh, you're jocking my straps. That is absolutely... I've got digits. I've got 2 digits. That I've actually got tears in my eyes. That is unbelievable setting. Literally unbelievable. If that's how you're meant to do this, that is, and if this is designed to do that, Cris, that is one of the most brilliant things I have ever seen in Sudoku ever. Because this is ridiculous. Right. Anybody who has not spotted this, and I'm sure most of you have now, because actually it's not that difficult to see once you start hunting for blue digits. But pause the video, give yourself as long as it takes to understand this. It is absolutely extraordinary. It is absolutely extraordinary. For those of you who managed to do it, I'm right, aren't I? It is extraordinary. Because where does blue go? Well, let's start down here. Where does blue go down here? And the answer is on this little patch of purpleness. But that logic is the same up here, and this is what gives it to you. It's the same. You can't put this as blue because it's going to overlap here. So blue is in one of those cells. And if blue is in one of those cells, how many combinations adding up to 15 is blue party to? And the answer is 1, 2, 3, 4. Which digit is party to 4 different combinations that add up to 15? That one. So that's a 5 and that's a 5. And that is just about as beautiful a deduction as I think I've ever seen in Sudoku. That is so cool. That's not 5 anymore. So that's even. So those two digits have opposite parity. I could almost get rid of 5 off there. And that would have told me that this wasn't the 4, 5, 6 combination. Oh, hang on, I know it's not the 4, 5, 6 combination because the 5s are all placed. Oh, right. This is huge. Right, so now we've got to concentrate a bit because we've worked out that the 4 combinations that add up to 15 that include 5 are on these specific lines. So that includes the 4, 5, 6 combination, it includes the 8, 5, 2 combination, and it includes the combinations that have the odd digits on them. So this line does not have 4, 5, well, it doesn't have, it's not the 4, 5, 6 line. And that means it's entropic, which means that that digit is a 1, 2 or a 3, that digit is a 7, 8, 9, and that's a middly digit. And we know that the parity of these is different. But, yes, this was the other thought I just had, which briefly removed itself from my brain, but has now come back. Right. We know that these are not diagonals. They are not diagonals because we worked out they had to be rows and columns, because were they to be diagonals, you couldn't have not had one of their digits on the other part of the bracket, if you see what I mean. So if that bracket, we know that's 6 different digits. Well, if one of those was the diagonal 2, 5, 8, how would this not have any of those 3 digits on it? You can't draw a line across the square that doesn't touch one of those cells, so it couldn't. So that wouldn't work. So these are so these digits are odd. That's what we've just learnt there. Those digits are this, and this, because the specific combinations that are that combination and that combination are the cross across the middle of the magic square. This is just... this is mind-blowing. I am going to sit here until I solve this. I tell you that now. This has to be seen. It has to be seen. Right, so these are odd. Now that means that these are the diagonals, because they're the other combinations that involve 5. So one of these is the 4, 5, 6. So let's actually pencil mark it. One of these is 4, 5, 6, and one of them is 2, 5, 8. Now, I can't use anything in this box to help me, so let's not do that. Right, come on. So now, this cell is even because of the knight's move constraint. So, even that deduction just thrills me. It absolutely thrills me, because let's think about the nature of this 1379. What are those digits? And the only thing you need to know, not only are they odd, but they're obviously all different, because they are those 4 cells across in the cross of the magic square, because one of them is this one of these lines is this combination, the other line is this combination. So these odd digits are those cells. They are not the same number. So that digit sees this one by Knight's Move, this one in its row, this one in its row, this one in its box. So it is not 1, 3, 7 or 9. It's not 5, so it's even. There we go. That's even. That's even. These two have to have opposite parity now in order to make sure this line adds up to 15. This... Oh, bobbins. That doesn't work. I was about to say it's even. It very nearly is probably even. But it could be 5, I think. Well, it clearly can't be 1, 3, 7 or 9. It's exactly the same as this one. It benefits from the same restriction. But this cell, I think, might be able to be 5. 5 in the middle box is restricted, actually. It's in one of 2 places. But unfortunately, one of those 2 places is that one. So that's either 5 or it's even. Right. So, what on earth do we do now? Do I know what the thermo is now? So the thermo is not the cross, it's not the diagonals. So it's this, or this, I think. It's one of the other 4 combinations, all of which exhibit entropy. Sorry, I'm just not spotting this, am I? What is it then? I don't know. I don't actually know what to do here. I could argue about... I've got nothing. I've got nothing here. What is it going to be then? 7, 9. Where does that... Right, where... Yeah, alright. Where does that digit go in this box? That's a good question, I think. It's odd. And we know that it doesn't go on this line, which is a 5 and 2 even numbers. It can't go there by the Knight's Move. It can't go there by Sudoku. It can't go there by the Knight's Move. So it goes there. So those 2 digits are the same number. That is a 1, 3, 7 or a 9. And it's the same as this one. So we'll give it a green... Ooh, no, I don't want to give it a green flash. I'll give it a... These are the questions, aren't they? I'll give it a blue flash. So that digit goes down here somewhere, where it could go on the line still. Now, come on, Simon. I had momentum for a moment, and my momentum has gone away. What about... Oh, I wish I knew. That's got to go. Is there the same thing here then? Yeah, okay, so try and take advantage of symmetry if it might be available to you. And it is here. That digit cannot go in those cells, and again, it can't go on the line. So that digit and that digit are the same. And that's different from grey, because those 2 digits see each other. Yes, we know that the 1s, 3s, 7s, and 9s are all different. So those 2 digits are the same. I'll use green this time. So that's 1, 3, 7, or 9. Which is going up here somewhere. So... what does that mean? green in this box. We know. Ah, yeah, okay. Where does that digit now go in this box, box 5? It's not here, doesn't repeat on its own line, doesn't go there by night's move, doesn't go here because that's even and night's move. It's not even, so it's not that cell. So green is in one of those two positions. Let's just highlight that for a moment. So does that matter? I mean, it might do. If I knew it was that one, then I would know that was a 7 or a 9. And then I would know that was a 7 or a 9. And then I'd know, God grief, I'd know that was a 2. Oh, hang on. Does that not add up? 2. No, that does work. That does work. Sorry, it would be a 2. That would be a 2. That's if I can get this cell to be this one. So why can't it be that one? Where would it go here? It would go in one of 2. No, that's not good. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm sure that there is something clever I can do here. Do I know... Do I know more about these things than I think I do? So I know that this... yeah, okay. So I know that the yellows are in the same orientation within the square. I know the oranges are in the same orientation within the square. And I know these are the diagonals. So yeah, that's a good thought. This is a good thought. Right. So either this one or this one is that strip. I mean, obviously, the point is, these might not be yellow. The magic square could be different. But in principle, one of these has to be the horizontal strip that completes the grid, that is the third row, the combination that is akin to the third row that I have not yet placed in the yellow ring. So in terms of, again, of our hypothetical, we know that the oranges are hypothetically in the vertical plane. So 2 of these combinations that go vertically are akin, that go around this ring. And then the third one, what's that going on in my phone? That's all right. The third one, the one that is not on the orange ring, is either this one or this one. So that right. So that means there is an extra region in the Sudoku. There are 2 extra regions in the Sudoku, because either it's these digits plus that is an extra region, or it's these digits plus this is an extra region. So what we need to do is to find either in this combination or this combination a cell I've done it. There we go. I've done it. Right. What I was going to say, I'm going to complete my sentence now. My brain, or my mouth wrote to check, my brain did cache. That's amazing. Right, grey. So what I want to imagine is that this combination here, this 357 combination, is that one. I mean, you can see it can't be, but that's not by design. That's just luck that there's a 5 in the middle. Ignore that. Let's imagine that that's yellow. That's the third yellow combination. Well, then we would know that that combination of 9 cells was the digits 1 to 9 once each, because we'd had all 3 rows of the Sudoku catered for in these combinations, or all 3 rows of the magic square. Now, How could that be when whatever digit is in grey cannot exist anywhere within yellow? So let's make those yellow, and now ask where grey goes in yellow. Well, can't go here, it sees this one. Can't go here, it sees this one. In fact, this grey rules out all of these, doesn't it? All of these cells, which are in the box with it. That grey also sees that one. This grey sees those two. You can't put grey in yellow at all, so it can't be. So this cannot be yellow. And if it cannot be yellow, which is the third row of the magic square? Well, it's got to be that one. So that's yellow. And that means this is orange. Wow. And these yellows and orange fish that we've now created are 2 extra regions. We've got the fish here that's doing this. So that's a fish. And this is a fish. And the 2 fish are extra regions, by which I mean that we've got to put all of the digits 1 to 9 once each in them. Now, and that means I've got another digit. No, I can't say things like that because it's not true. In the moment, it feels like it is. This is one of the most brilliant puzzles I've ever seen in my life. Honestly, this is just absolutely startling. Now, come back to our thoughts around green and where green goes in this box. And in particular, the question I want to change that question just a smidgen. Where does the green digit go on the orange fish? Where is the green digit on the orange fish? That's the question I want to ask. It's not in these cells, and it's not in those cells, because this is green, and that one sees all of those. And this green, which we know is the same as this, sees that one. So the green is not in there. It's not in here by Knight's move. This is an odd digit, so it's not there. And we know that green in box 5 goes in one of those 2 cells, so it's not that one. So the only cell that can be green is that one. So that is green. And that's absolutely massive, because this is now odd. In fact, we can do all sorts of things. That is a 1 or not a 1 or a 3. This is now odd and not 8. Now, in order to make this add up to 15, we've got this, which is not changing sort of the parity. We need these to be of opposite parity. So this can only be a 2, and that was the digit that I've got. Now, that's seeing that by Knight's move. This digit is now low, isn't it? Because we're adding 5 to at least 7, so that's got to be not 7 or 9. This now is 7 or 9, so we've got 7s and 9s all over the place. And for our next deduction, oh, this is gorgeous. Right, look, 2 is now off this line. So that is not 285, it's 456. And if that's 456, that's not 456, and we take the 4 and the 6 out. So that's got to be 258. Got interrupted. It's the school holidays. I had to go play Uno. I don't believe it. This is not the puzzle I ever wanted to get interrupted on. Let me just see what I've been doing. I've been doing some stuff with 2s, 5s and 8s down at the bottom here. So why did I think this was... Oh, yes, okay. Because I got a 2 here, wasn't it? I've got a 2 here. I've been away from the puzzle for quite a while, actually. This is 4, 5, 6. Yes, okay, I've remembered. So this was the diagonal. And this is the diagonal, it's the other diagonal, and that's how I knew that once this was 4, 5, 6, this became 2, 5, 8. And yes, and this all stemmed from that absolutely, or did it? Hang on now, where did that stem from? How did I get Yes, I got that this was a 2, didn't I? Because of this extraordinary stuff that gave me this as an odd digit. And then I knew the parity of this one. So this 2, right, this is just my putative magic square. This is not important. And I constructed the fish. Yes, I've remembered. So this was an extra region. And this is vertical fishes. This is vertical stripes of my magic square. This is horizontal stripes of my magic square. Okay. Right. So what I've got to do now is to work out which digits are restricted. Well, what I mean is I've got to make sure I put one of each digit on each fish. I was about to get excited about putting this on the top fish, saying it couldn't go in any of those positions. That's this shows how much I mean, that's already on the top fish, Simon. It's got to go on the bottom fish. Can it go on the bottom fish easily? If it goes on the... Well, it can. It can go in the bottom fish in a variety. Oh, actually, no. Hang on. It can't go there. Oh, so this digit is in one of those 3 cells. Is that worth pencil marking? Of course it is. It makes me feel like I'm making progress over and above where I was. Right. Oh, come on. I am going to sit here. I'm going to sit here now. I'm going to eschew all interruptions. Although that last one, I couldn't really avoid it. There were children in the room and everything. Come on. So we've got... So what we've probably got to do is to think about... Alright, where does that digit go on the top fish? It doesn't seem to be able to be in any of those cells, or that one. So it's in one of those 2. So one of those squares is quite a low number, and it's that. So let's purplify that and purplify one of those. And give those a little bit of a shadow to indicate we don't know which of these is purple. Has that helped? The answer is... Well, actually... Does that benefit from the same problem? That digit's also got to appear on the orange fish. So it's not in any of those cells. It's not an odd number. It's not there. Right, so that digit is up there as well. So this is, in fact, if I label this cell with the power of... Oh, I'm running out of colours a bit here. Should we get rid of... Let's get rid of blue. I think we can get rid of blue because we've sort of used blue now. And let's instead blue this digit. So where does this digit go on the top fish? The answer is in exactly the same positions as the purple. So we can get rid of the white, bluify this, and these digits are from 1, 3, 4, 6 and 8. Is that in any way helpful? Can you put 4 with a... Oh, no, you can. You can. Oh, dear. So, instead of that, what could we do? We could... Oh, I know what it is. I know what it is. Right. It's exactly the same as it is with the 5. I was just looking at the 5s then and trying to remember how I knew they were 5s. And then I remembered the most amazing logic probably there's ever been in Sudoku that gave us that these were 5s. But this is orange and this is yellow. So they cross in the square. And if they cross in the square, they must have a digit in common. And it's exactly the same pattern. This is exactly the same zigzag that this is. So that digit is there. Is that what I'm learning? Oh, please let that be what I'm learning. That's going to give me a 2 here as well. I think that's correct, isn't it? If I know that the orange fish is the other dimension to the yellow fish, there must be an overlapping digit between orange and yellow. So there is a common digit in that spiral, just as there was a common digit in that spiral. So that is, it's the same. We can't repeat digits here, can we? It's the same. I don't think the symmetry possibly breaks. Well, let's just check it. That can't repeat. That can't repeat. So that digit must be the repeated digit. So it goes there. So this is now not 2. 2 is here by a process of Sudoku, of all things, in box 5. And that means 2 is mildly restricted. Can that be 2? I'm getting no, 2 can't repeat on the orange fish. So no, right. So actually 2 is restricted in this box up here, one of 2 places. This digit is odd now, because those 2 are both even. So that's an odd digit, and it's not 5. So that's 1, 3, 7, or 9, and therefore it finds a home in one of those cells, which is that one. Wow. Because we know these are 4 different digits from our earlier logic, that digit is not the same as that. It's in the same box as that and the same row as that. So those 2 digits are the same. We're going to need another colour. Let's go light green this time. That digit has appeared on both fish. Alright, that digit's over here. Maybe we're starting to get to the point where we might have to get rid of this up there. Now, well, that can't be right. Okay, here's another point. That digit is not able to be particularly low, because that would force this line has to add up to 15. So if this is 1 or 3, this would be at least a double-digit number. So that is now 7 or 9. That's 7 or 9. That means that cell's not 7 or 9 anymore. So this is, I've got a 1, 3 pair. I've got a 1, 3 pair here. Come on. Come on. I've got... Come on, Simon, please. This feels... yeah, okay. Where does the purple digit go up here? That's got to go here now by Sudoku. That's purple, and it's a 1 or a 3. So now I've got a 1, 3, a 1, 3. That line down here, remember that adds up to 15. Let's actually put the options in now. 6, 7, 8, or 9. This is a 1, 3 pair. So in this column... I've got a 7, 9 pair here coming off the line. So that's got to be a 7 or a 9. It's one of those 2 colours. What's going on in this column then? We know that... Is it this digit here? That's not 8. That's going to be too big. I've got a 4, 6 pair. Oh my goodness. That's got to not be 4. This is 5 or 8. That's 5 or 8. Oh, that's so nearly Oh! That's a 5. It sees a 4, 6 pair. 5, 4, 6 pair. That's become an 8. Look, I've got 6, 7, 9 in the column. That's become an 8. Therefore, that's a 7 to make the maths work. That's an 8 by Sudoku. Oh, okay. I'm feeling better now. So it wasn't, although I got interrupted, it wasn't at a stage where the puzzle was becoming brutal again. This is a 5 by Sudoku. That's an 8. What does that mean? Don't know. I can't put another 5 on a purple line. I have well and truly busted the 5s. So 5 in this box now might be restricted. Look, or not. Oh yeah, no, it is a bit. That 5 reaches in there. So there's a 5 in one of 2 places. That settles my 2 and 5 down at the bottom. That 2 lops the 2 out of here and plonks it here. So now I've got to... Don't use that 2. Do not use that 2. That 2 is very, very, very misleading. 2 goes there, just by the power of not being a knight's move away from itself. Look, I'm going to have to get rid of my magic square, the most wonderful magic square in the world. Is it safe to do that? Is it safe to do that? Have we extracted every last, what's the expression from Harry Potter? Every last exquisite drop of agony. I don't know. I think I probably have. I know the diagonals. I've used those. They're there and there. And I've got 2 fish left, which are basically, yeah, I think I'm going to risk getting rid of this. And that's like saying goodbye. Oh, yeah, no, I should get rid of it, because if that's 8-7, we know that's 6-9. So that could be important. He says, rather desperately. Okay, this column has got all of the digits in it, with the exception of 9. Oh my goodness me! And that 9, unless I've made a boo-boo here, sees that cell, which makes it a 7. That a 9, and by mathematics that's a 4 and that's a 6. And by knight's move, that's a 6 and that's a 4 and that's a 6 and that's a 9. Wow, wow, wow. Just incredible this is. This is right, that's a 7, 8, 9 triple in that column. So these squares are 4 and 6, which we apparently don't know the order of. Can we do any more maths? That's a, oh yeah, we can. That's a 9, so that's a 9. That's a 1. That's a 3. By maths, that's a 7. I want my magic square back now to know. They could probably work out what this one has to be now. It's got a purple on it, so it's got a 1 on it. It's not got a 3 on it, therefore. It can't have a 4 on it, because that wouldn't add up to enough. So we know that it seems to have to be 186 now. And that would be great, because it would mean that was an 8. Because it couldn't be a 1 or a 6. How could it be anything else, given the options for those squares? How do I know? Oh, I know. Oh, I tell you why. I know there's a blue on there, don't I? There's got to be a blue on the top fish. And we knew it was there. And it's a 6, so it must go here, because it can't go there. Good grief. So that's 6, therefore that's 1. That's an 8 by magic and maths. That's an 8 by magic and maths. That's not a 7, because it sees a 9. This is a 1-3 pair. So 1 is in one of 2 places. And actually, if I had my magic square available, I could now work. I suppose I can work out these digits anyway, can't I? I can just use my ring of yellows. And that the digits I've not put on the yellow fish yet are 3, 4, and 8. And 3, 4, and 8 do, as you may have gathered, add up to 15. That's not 8. That's not 8. So that must be an 8. This is a 3, 4 pair now. Which is probably resolved somehow. So how many 8s have we got? Lots. Can I get them all? Just pausing for a moment while I think about that question. I fear the answer might be no, I'm afraid. There might be a way of getting them, but I can't see what it is. So we might have to wait a moment or two, and hopefully it won't be longer than that, to magically get those other digits. Now, 9 is mildly restricted in this box, look. It's in one of 2 places. I don't think Knight's Move Trickery is going to help me, but 9 does help me get that digit, because it can't go here because of the Knight's Move. So 9, oh, that's great. So 9 is now here by Sudoku, replacing a pencil marked 8. So 8 is now in one of those 2. We've got an X-wing of 8s left. This row needs 1s and 7s. So that's got to be 1 by Sudoku, and that's got to be the 7. Gosh, imagine if I do this and then I find that I've got a Knight's Move. You know, there's something a Knight's Move away from itself. I'd probably cry. There's a 1 in one of these cells. Right, those squares then. They've got to be 3, 4, and 5. And I'd love to know what the order of that. I know that's not 5. I suppose that gives me a 3-4 pair, so that's got to be a 5. Okay, fine. We might have to do some 3-4 colouring, it looks like. This is a 2-5 pair. And the knight's move doesn't seem to be helping me, but that means these squares here have got to be 1 and 6, which is resolved, I see. So that's 6, that's 1, that's 1. So 1 is in one of 3, not here, because that would break the knight's move constraint again. 1's in one of these 2 cells. 1 is here, 1 is here, 1 is here, 3 is here. Come on. Come on. These squares down here are 3, 4 and 6. That's probably resolvable. That's a 7 by Sudoku. That's not able to be 3. What's going on in the bottom row? This doesn't look... Oh, I see. That becomes a 3 or a 4. No, no, no. Does this 3 see anything? No. Does this 2, 5 see anything? Ah, it does. That 2 reaches in there. It sorts that out. Good. Good. Okay, so can I get... Oh, I can get 2 in this box. That's been available for ages. Sorry if you've been shouting at me about that. I tell you, if you're shouting at me very much in this puzzle, I will feel a bit sad for myself, because this, I do feel, has been at least quite an interesting journey. Like, this has got to be a 3 or a 4. Whoopsie. So in this row we need 3s, 4. That's a 3 or a 4. Can't be 5. So the 5 in this row gets placed. I think I'm just focusing on all the wrong digits at every moment I possibly can. 4, 6 and 7 in this row. So that's got to be 4 or 7. And that has got to be 4 or 6 or 7. And somehow something needs to reach in here and tell me. Well, if this was 4, it would rule 4 out of both of those. So that becomes 6 or 7 now. Okay. Can we reach in here and pick up an 8 or a 9 from somewhere that's going to resolve this? I bet you it's possible. What about these squares? They've got to be 9 and... Oh, 9 and 7 again. Okay. Or have I used up all of my lines? That's the other thought. Have I used up all my lines? Imagine if... This would be a disaster. What about this column? That is... Oh, that's it. Look, this 3 sees that cell. So that's got to be the 4, which makes that the 4, and that the 3, and that makes that the 7, that's the 6, that's the 4. Oh, come on. Oh, I think I just put 4 in that cell. Don't know what happened. But that means, look, this 4, 6 gets resolved by knight's move, jiggery pokery. 4 goes here. And that's 3 in the corner. That is a very, very cool 3 in the corner. 7 and 8 are in those 2 cells. And 8 is useful. 7, 8, 8, 9. 7, 9. That cell down there is a 3, I think. So somehow this... Ah, that's 4, 3, 4, 4, 3. Come on. Yes! Yes! The 5th person to solve that puzzle. There is no way Mark did that. There is no way. That's what he's done. He's had a look at it and he's noted that it's really interesting. And he's thought, I know what I'll do. I'll send it to Gubbins over there and see if he can solve it in a video of no less. You rotten thing. That was... I think we just have to spend a moment, though, and reflect on the utter genius of Cris Moore for creating this puzzle. That is... This deduction here, around these 5s, I don't know, maybe there is another way of doing this. But that is one of the most beautiful things I have ever seen in a Sudoku puzzle. Full stop. The 15th Day of Christmas. This is my Christmas come early. A puzzle like this does not come along very often. And what Cris has done here deserves just humble respect. It is an absolute masterpiece. One of the greatest puzzles of all time. I have no doubt in saying that. Absolutely stunning. Thank you so much for watching. I'm now going to go and play more Uno, probably. We'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.